Okay guys, I'm going to start off with using Urban Decay lid primer, and I'm just going to use my finger to work that on into my eye and my eyebrows. Okay, now I'm going into my Benefits brow pencil. This is a number 5. I just got this and I just hauled it a while, I think 2 weeks ago, but it's first time for me using it and I really liked it. I'm just gonna sculpt out my brow. I have eyebrows, but they're very thin and kind of like kind of see-through in a way. They're not like really prominent, so I gotta make the brows. So I really liked how the outcome of that pencil was. I feel like it was looked very natural and really nice on me. So that's me just making some eyebrows. Okay guys, so that's me finishing up my eyebrow, and now I'm going into my concealer, which I'm using a Mercier flat synthetic brush. I'm also using Anastasia's concealer in 6.5. I use that all the time to carve out my eyebrows. Absolutely love it. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I like the flat brush because I can really get up under there and really sculpt it out. Again, I do not do the top of my eyebrow. I leave that up to when I use my foundation to carve the top of it, instead of getting that weird little halo brow thing going on. And then I'm going to go into another synthetic brush, spray it with some Avion setting spray, dance a little bit, and blend that on out. And yeah. Okay, now I'm going into my Anastasia's brow powder. This is in dark brown, and I'm using the lighter one to do the front part of my eyebrow, and then I'm going to do the darker one on the edges or the outer part, and just to set the pencil. And yeah. Okay, now I'm going to use a MAC paint pot. I'm using Artifact. I don't know if they still have this paint pot, but you can also use like a liner that's like burgundy. I know Colourpop has some burgundy liners. So I use that as the base, and then I went into my Huda Beauty eyeshadow palettes. Okay, now I'm going into my Huda Beauty eyeshadow palette, and this is in Warm Brown Obsession. I'm using that orangey color first, and then I'm gonna get into like a darker reddish color. I wanted to use that as a base before I went into the other color that I wanted to go into. So here we go. Okay, now this is the reddish color I went with. I felt like this palette was better than the other one because I did end up using the Mauve Obsession to deepen up that crease. And here it is, the Mauve Obsession palette. I used that dark burgundy, and I felt like it was super patchy when I first put it on, and it took a lot of buffing um, to get it to show up a little bit more. I buffed and buffed and buffed, and it just, I don't know, it's something with using it with the colors from the Warm Brown palette. Maybe it was just not working because maybe it wasn't the palette they were chosen to go with. I'm not sure, but it was patchy. It was patchy, and I really had to work that out to even it out and everything. Alright, so that's the end result. You can see that I had a lot of fallout on my nose and an inner part of my eye. Excuse me. Now I'm going into my concealer. I just bought this. This is Tarte Shape Tape and Fair, I think. Yep, Fair. And I used that to carve out my cut crease. Um, I really didn't have an issue with how I did the cut crease. It was like the other eye I went too high up, and I had to take the whole eye look off and then sculpt it again because it wasn't even, and it was driving me crazy. So I had to redo it, but it did turn out good in the end. Okay, so I'm gonna go into that color in the mauve obsession palette, and I feel like it was something about this eyeshadow that just wasn't laying down properly for me. I think I sprayed my brush, or I added Inkline's Duraline, not mixy medium, but it helps to bring like your eyeliner back to life after it gets a little dry. I used that to lay that down, and it still ended up cracking, but it only cracked on one eye because my eye was really watering a lot from me trying my best to try to get this eyeshadow to stick onto my eye, and the concealer was very sticky, and it still just wasn't working with me whatsoever. And the other color that I picked to be on the outer part of my eye, which I thought was going to be a lot darker, um, it just wasn't working. And I ended up having to use the Duraline. I ended up flicking some of it onto a palette and adding that Duraline to it. As right now, it was me just using it onto the lid, and it just wasn't working for me. I thought it was going to be more pigmented than this. So then I went in with the Duraline and just put some on my palette and mixed it together. And it worked a little bit, but I really expected it to be a lot brighter than what it was. Um, yeah, it was irritating. But I made it work in the end. I really think it turned out really pretty. Um, I really was pissed because my eye kept cracking. I ended up putting my highlighter in the upper part of my eye to try to conceal some of that cracking on the other eye. Okay, on to the face. I'm going to use my Becca First Light Priming Filter Primer, and then I'm going to go into Marc Jacob's dewdrops on my face. I didn't get a video of the NARS pore primer I put on. Also, I do use a lot of stuff, I know. I use a lot of stuff. I also did put the Soleil um, pore primer on my cheeks. And then I think after that, and I put the primer, the NARS primer, pore primer down too. Okay, so now foundation. This is the CoverGirl's Healthy Elixir foundation. This is in soft sable. I really, really, really feel like this foundation is amazing. It's the perfect color for me, and also that's the darkest in that line. And I'm like soft sable in like everything CoverGirl comes out with. But look at that, just beautiful, just so beautiful. Now I'm using my ColourPop concealer, which is in Deep 70. And I also use that to go over my nose before I go into contouring my nose. And I just put that concealer all over, wiggle and jiggle a little bit, and use my beauty blender to blend that on out and have a good time. Okay, still blending that out, and then I go into my RCMA translucent translucent powder, and I just use that to set up under my eye. I do not bake. And then I dance some more, I guess. And then put that right into my middle of my brows. And then we're going to get into contouring, which is the Fenty Beauty's espresso. And I'm just gonna use that and go around my temples and everywhere where I want to put that at. And then I'm going to use a synthetic brush. I'm going to spray that with Fix Plus, and then I'm just going to buff that on in. And that's a Morphe brush that I'm using that I got from a set a very long time ago. So I'm just going to buff that in and tap and buff. And tap and buff. Okay guys, now I'm going to use my Mercier powder. This is the Candlelight Glow Sheer Perfecting Powder. This is in number 5. I use that to bring a little bit more life back up under my eyes and under my contour. And now I'm going to use those 3 colors to contour my nose. I start off with the lighter 2 colors, and then I add in the darker color. Together they blend together perfectly to really contour my nose. I learned that little trick from AJ Crimson. Just add a lighter color and mix it with the darker, and so that your nose contour won't be like extremely harsh. And then I set everything with Bobbi Brown's Camel eyeshadow. It is eyeshadow, but I use it all the time to contour my nose because of the color, and it just really scopes out my my nose perfectly, so that it doesn't look like two lines on my nose. So now I'm getting into setting my contour, and I'm using the KKW dark palette, which I love because it's such a subtle contour. It's not over the top, and it just blends really well, and it doesn't look like I'm super overly done. Okay, now I'm going to set my whole face, and I'm using MAC's Mineralize Skin Finish in Dark Deep, and I use that all over my face. And then I get into my highlight, which is the Fenty Beauty's. I use both Girl Next Door and Chic Phreak Kilowatt. I absolutely love this. I had to use my face powder just to bring it down some because I went in with this, and it was so pretty. Just super, super pretty, and I really like the Kilowatt highlighters. I went into my Tatcha setting spray and my Urban Decay all-nighter spray, and that's it. So bye till next time. I'm back, and before I get started, this is a wig I made from You Amazing Hair. It is 2 12 inches in a 12-inch frontal. I have like maybe 3 wigs, maybe 3, no, 4 wigs I bought. Not wigs, but hair that I bought from them that I am wearing, and 3 of those are bobs, and 1 is going to be a longer style, but I am going to basically wear each one, and then at the end of that I'm going to talk, like basically do a review and also say goodbye to the hair, because I had this hair for like a minute, and I've been wearing this one and my blonde one for a minute, and I just made the other one I just made, and I'm working on another one. So they all are the same Brazilian body wave, other than the limbs. That's the difference in it with the last wig I'm gonna make and how I colored this. So I did my look with Huda Beauty's eyeshadows, and I did not like them. I think the warm brown is better than the what is this, the mauve obsession is better than this. I had more problem with the shimmer shades in here trickling down and falling. I had to put Fenty Beauty what is it, Girl Next Door, on the inner part of my eye, because some reason my eye is cracking in the inner part over here. I just don't know what's going on. And this one color right here is beautiful but dry, and then when I mixed it with these colors, excuse me, these colors, it looked kind of patchy, and it took me to build it up to get where I need to go with this. I did justify getting these. They were $25. I think I got in VIB sale. I don't think the mauve one is actually worth getting. I would stick with the warm brown. I will be doing a tutorial with the bright one, because of course I love bright colors. Here's it, if I haven't showed it to you. It's very, very pretty. I am going to do this one, but I will be mixing all of them together, because my thought process of buying them would be, if I'm traveling, I could just take these and I can do a couple looks with this and not have to boggle down with all of my stuff. But the way these glitters work, or the shimmers, I would actually bring another palette, maybe that Fenty Beauty, maybe not the Fenty Beauty palette. I got a speck of glitter in my eye, and my eye was killing me after I used one of those colors for Fenty Beauty. Beware of that. Be safe. Be careful. I probably will still take this, but I would take a palette that I have that's like all glitter or shimmer shades in it. Not the Fenty, because if you in some hotel and you're in a hurry, you don't got time for that, because you may get glitter in your eye. But more of a shimmery, all shimmer type of palette. And Urban Decay does awesome palettes. So also what's on my lip is Colourpop's Kapow. It's a mauve color, and I also have chestnut lip liner with Anastasia's Pure Hollywood in the center, and that is it. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and bye till next time, and thank you for watching.